Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, if I don't take action today, where will I be in a year? Surely each of us has big dreams, promising goals. You know you can do it, but day after day, you let them pass without taking action. You tell yourself, tomorrow will be different. Today is not the right time. And then you continue to procrastinate, just like that, passing up valuable opportunities. Every morning when you wake up, you feel the dawn of a new day, full of promise. But as the day goes on, you feel like you are standing still, unable to start. You see people around you trying, moving forward step by step, while you are still standing there, watching them with a feeling of helplessness. You ask yourself, can I change? Can I step out of this comfort zone? Procrastination isn't always about laziness. It can be about fear of failure, about doubt about our own abilities. We often wait for the perfect moment to act, but that moment always seems just out of reach. We convince ourselves tomorrow will do it, but tomorrow becomes the next day, and the next, and so on, and our dreams and goals remain just wishful thinking. So the question is, if you don't take action today, where will you be a year from now? Will you be grateful that you started, or will you be filled with regret that you didn't take the first step? If you don't do anything today, will you be able to look back and be proud of yourself in the future? Or will you only regret the missed opportunities? The scariest thing is not failure, but doing nothing. Today is the only chance you have to start, even if it is just a small step. A small step today can create a big change in a year, while procrastination will only keep you stuck in a loop with no way out. So, what will you do today to change your life? If you want to start taking action, click the subscribe button and follow my channel to receive more inspirational videos to help you overcome procrastination and get closer to your own dreams. Now, please join me to discover the story of a person who, like you, once had big dreams but never dared to start. There was a man named Paul who lived in a crowded city where everyone was racing against time. Paul was a man full of dreams. He always wanted to change his life, always dreamed of doing something great, leaving a mark in life. However, when looking at himself every day, Paul felt helpless, standing still, even though he knew clearly that he could do more wonderful things. Every morning, Paul woke up with big plans, but gradually, he let them pass by in vain. Paul had dreams like everyone else. He wanted to learn a new skill, write a book, start a project of his own. But every time he started thinking about doing it, a feeling of anxiety would come over him. Paul would ask himself, am I good enough? Will I fail? Can I do it? And each time Paul would find reasons to procrastinate, to not start. He thought there would be a perfect day to start, but that perfect day never came. One day, while Paul was sitting in a familiar coffee shop, he happened to see an old friend. That friend was now running a small company, living the life that Paul had dreamed of. Paul could not help but feel disappointed when he saw the obvious difference between himself and that friend. This old friend had nothing special, nothing outstanding except a strong persistence in action, and always started even when everything was not perfect. Paul suddenly realized that it was the procrastination and fear and self-questioning that kept him in his comfort zone, never allowing him to step out. A feeling of regret rose in Paul's heart. He wondered if he had acted earlier. Maybe things would be different now. But he also knew that the past could not always be changed. The most important thing was to start today, even if it was just a small step. Paul decided that from now on, he would not let procrastination stop him anymore. He would take steps, one step at a time, even if not perfectly, but he would never stand still. The next day, Paul took action. He spent 10 minutes a day writing about his idea, even though it was nothing special at first. He began learning the skills he needed to develop his project, even though each lesson was just a small step. But it was those small steps that, over time, created big changes in Paul's life. Paul made a little progress every day. Although he didn't always feel confident, Paul knew that once he started, he couldn't stop. The first lesson from Paul's story is that procrastination is not a result of laziness, but a brain response to a task that is too big. When we look at a goal that is too big, we often feel overwhelmed, and our brains immediately look for ways to avoid it. This is the body's natural mechanism, avoiding things that make us feel stressed and afraid. This explains why many people procrastinate on taking action, even though they know that the goal will bring them happiness and success in the future. Fear is not something strange, but a feeling that everyone can experience. The question that Paul asked himself before starting, "Can I do this?" is a question that most of us have asked ourselves, but in reality, that question is not the important thing. What is important is that taking action, even if it is not perfect, will still bring results. You don't have to know everything, you just have to start. Don't let perfection be an excuse for not taking action, because small actions, even if they are not perfect, are always more powerful than waiting for everything to be perfect. Paul's story is also a lesson in perseverance and consistency. Big changes don't come from one giant leap, but from small, consistent actions every day. We often think of success as the result of big steps, but the opposite is true. Real success comes from the persistence of doing small things every day. Paul didn't need to start with a big project, he just needed to start with a small step. And each small step gradually created big changes in his life. Remember, the journey to growth and success is not an easy one. There will be times when you feel unmotivated, inadequate, or simply overwhelmed. But the important thing is to keep moving forward, even if it is just one small step, because every step, no matter how small, gets you closer to your goal. Don't wait for the perfect day. Don't wait until you feel ready. Start today, even if it's just one small step, because a year from now, you will either be grateful that you started or regret not taking action today. It's the small steps today that will lead to big results tomorrow. So how do we overcome procrastination and start taking action today? The answer is simple. Break down your goals and start with small steps. If you want to write a book, don't think about writing the whole book at once. Start with a short paragraph, a short story. If you want to learn a new skill, don't think about mastering it all at once. Start by learning one lesson a day. And most importantly, stick with those small steps. Don't give up no matter how hard or how many failures you encounter. A simple method to help you overcome procrastination is the 2-minute rule. This rule is simple. If a task can be completed in 2 minutes, do it immediately. This rule helps you overcome the paralysis of too many tasks and helps you start taking action immediately. Once you start something, even if it is a small one, it will be easier to continue. Finally, remember that there are no shortcuts to success. There is only perseverance and daily action. Never give up, even if you only make one small step, because every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to your dream. So where will you start today? Start now, because tomorrow will be too late. If you're still hesitating and wondering if you can make a change, remember that change doesn't come in giant leaps. It comes in baby steps. Every decision you make, no matter how small, can be the first step on a long journey to success. It's those little steps, repeated every day, that gradually make a big difference. A year from now, when you look back, you will feel proud of having started, of taking small but continuous steps. You will find yourself more mature, stronger, and closer to the dream that you once thought was far away. But if you keep procrastinating, still standing still, you will realize that you have let time pass by without doing anything, and you will have to live with regret. Success doesn't come from waiting for perfect conditions. It comes from persistence, from daring to start even if it's not perfect. Allow yourself to make mistakes, because every mistake is a valuable lesson. Every day, you can make a little progress. Every step, no matter how small, will bring you closer to your goal. So don't wait for tomorrow. Take action today, even if it's just a small step, because tomorrow only comes when you step out of today, and your future is no longer a vague idea, but the result of the actions you start today. If you feel this is the message you need, don't forget to subscribe to receive more inspirational videos every day. Take action now, because you are the one who can change your life.